Jackie Edwards here. Welcome to the Women Power Wealth Show. So I'm super excited today. I've got Liz Scully here to chat with us all things about money, business, and women. So I will pass it over to her and just let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. So my name is Liz Scully. I'm a business strategist, but the only way I work with people is in mastermind groups. So I also train people to run them. My background is in film, which is super collaborative. That's where I got used to working with people in very powerful groups so that people are more together than they are apart. I spent 20 years in film, and I've been a strategist for 10 years. So it's obviously I'm of a great age, but in film, I was very lucky to have a lot of success, and I worked on a lot of big Hollywood films. I've won an Emmy. My work has been Oscar nominated on several occasions. And what this means is that you work with a lot of people who are paid a huge amount of money to be right. And those egos take a lot of managing. And basically what they would do is they would lock us into a small room and say, go, win awards. But what they actually meant was, please don't kill each other. And from that, I learned how to put groups together. And obviously working in film, it's about time, money, making sure things happen on time with the crew happy, all of which is translatable to entrepreneur life, much more than I ever realized when I was working in the film world.
Yeah, that's definitely how it all works, is making sure we can all work together collaboratively with our clients, our teams,
Absolutely.
ourselves, just making things happen. Awesome. So let's break it down. I know we just chatted a second before kind of hitting record, and this is something I hope we would talk about, but you work with both men and with women. So if we could talk a little bit about the differences with kind of the men and the women and the vibes in business.
Absolutely. So the main place that I work with people, I have kind of two areas. One is I help people that are making about 100 grand a year and want to get to 300 grand. So as we know, that feels like it's a process issue, but it's actually a mindset issue. And those are almost always women, or people who identify as women in that section. The other group of people I work with are people who are experts in their field and want to put together a high-level mastermind. Yeah. And those people are sometimes, but not always, men who have had a very successful career, who want to kind of relax into something. Maybe they're in their 50s, they want a little job. It's often discussed as a little job. And what they want is nothing big, Liz, just something that's about 300 grand a year, a little job. And if my people at 100 grand had that attitude, they would be streaks ahead. And I only ever see it across the gender divide. It's probably the only big thing I see across that. Do you see that in your work?
Yes, I do. And I think it's something that we're almost, as a woman, kind of raised with is, men are taught to kind of be bold, be brave. You can go out and, take on the world, and it's your goal to like make that money. And that's what you're there for. Whereas women were just taught to kind of stay small, nurture people, not let ourselves get too big, not, brag or not show up too hard, just to kind of stay in the background. So that's super, because I don't work with a lot of men, so that's super interesting.
Yeah, and they're lovely people. They're humble human beings. But as you say, they've been programmed to that level. And the other thing that I noticed, and I learned this years ago when I was doing sales training, and then went to work for my sales coach, which is my top tip for how to get really good training, is become part of someone else's bottom line. So you have to be good at it. But she taught me that when you're working with people about how much they're going to earn, we all have a set point. And that set point is whatever you have earned before.
Yeah.
So if you've earned $500,000 before, you can go back to $500,000 or anywhere in between really easily. If you've never earned more than 50 grand, going to 70 will be hard for you. And the only way to get past that is to earn it, to do it, to prove to yourself. I bet you see that a lot.
Yes, that's almost every day. My goodness, I struggle with that myself sometimes. So it's just, that's all over that set point, and really working on how can we just make it natural to raise that. Honestly, I see that in my weight as well. So got it.
Yes.
every boundary.
Let's not talk about weights. I'm basically, you can't see it, but I'm basically spherical from the clavicles down now.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's why I like to zoom videos from up here.
Exactly.
All right. So are there any kind of tips you have for kind of helping to boost that mindset, to kind of raise that level so a bit more quickly and more easily?
Well, money mindset stuff isn't the main focus of my work, but I find simply continually telling people they're not charging enough. In fact, I've thought of getting stickers that just say charge more, that people could put on the back of their phone, because almost every woman I know, or I said anyone who was habituated to that way of thinking, has this real issue about, do you think it's okay to charge $5,000?
Yeah.
And everyone has that to a certain degree. Even my high-end people, they're still, can I charge 20?
Yeah.
And the answer is, of course, that you can charge anything that you can show the value for.
Yeah.
And with the magic of copy and coaching, that's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just getting to that next level of mindset. No matter where you're at on the spectrum, like you said, I've seen women struggle with, should I sell that for, a tenner or $20, all the way up to, is 20,000 too much? Is 30,000 too much?
Yeah.
No matter where you're at in the spectrum, and it'd be interesting, but I see almost every woman, and myself again included with that, is thinking, oh, is it worth it? And it almost comes down to, am I worth it? Because we really just link everything we've got so much with ourself and our own self-worth. Do you see that kind of on the same side with men? Or? With men,
much less so. Although even the super confident men, when I say, right, you can charge 40 grand for this, people will be like, oh, that's a lot. And the answer is always, have you ever spent that much yourself on coaching?
Okay.
And if not, go and do it, and then you will meet the kind of people that do it, and you will become that kind of person. And occasionally they look at me with a kind of, is this a sneaky sales pitch? No, but it could be. But it's important that we believe it fundamentally, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So I'm glad it's not, I'm glad it crosses the gender divide a little bit.
It does.
But it definitely, in the men that I've seen and worked with, it just, most of the time it's just that easier step, just because of the way almost we're brought up, which just disappoints me so much. And I talk a lot about, maybe not a lot, but kind of like feminism and empowering women and making sure we're powerful. But it's almost on the flip side of that, is being how we raise our men as well, to kind of visualize that, and to kind of make it happen, that you don't always have to be the strong, powerful one that's always pushing to make more money and do all the things and never have emotions. Just the same as women don't need to be the ones that are taking care of everything and supporting everybody except for themselves, and just taking care of everyone and not taking care of.
And I think those negative thoughts can creep in very subtle ways. I find them in my own thinking, where I'll know I know my worth, I know what I want to charge, and then I find myself thinking, but can the economy manage that at the moment? Is this a good moment to do that? And you're like, hang on a minute. This is just self-doubt in a different dress.
Yes, especially right now. That's a huge one I've seen, is, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm pretty sure we're heading into a major recession, all of those things. Definitely. And everyone I talk to, well, most people, I guess, are really worried about, I can't charge as much, people can't afford it, I should give everybody a discount. And I also see it on the flip side of people expecting discounts and saying, really? Oh, well, don't you know there's a pandemic right now, I can't afford all these things, you should give me a discount. I'm like, well, that's interesting, because I'm still living in this pandemic as well. So if I give you a discount, then I'm not making as much either. And how is this benefiting anybody?
Exactly.
But there's a major mindset issue.
Completely. On that. I also think that there is something really interesting in it, because yes, I believe we're going into not just a recession. I think we're going to go into something like the 1930s again, but bigger, because the world just stopped for 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah.
Which is unprecedented. So, but the thing to remember is that in the 30s, Forbes happened, all those big Hollywood films were funded. There were, you know, stuff happens, big things start and get made. You can make a good ethical living in the middle of that, because it's not like all of the money is disappeared.
Yeah.
It's not gone completely. Some people still have jobs. Some
Yeah.
people are still doing the best. And so many people, particularly for the sort of work we do, have suddenly realized that the reason they go to the office is social, and that you can have really deep, meaningful conversations online. So for the work I do, suddenly there's a lot of people going, well, how do I build community? How do I do that? How do I knit people together so that they like each other?
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly that, because I think I totally agree that we're going to have a major depression. I mean, the governments can't keep propping up the economy anymore because, anyways, but
exactly, where is the money coming from?
Yeah,
at the moment?
right.
They're just
like,
sort of handing it out. And I'm
like it's but that is the truth. There is, like, that money hasn't just all burned up and disappeared, so it is still going to be out there, and it's just kind of finding new ways of kind of adding that value so that the money is more attracted to you and that it comes to you. And it's so much easier, I think, now than it was way back in the day, because we have the internet, we've got this technology.
Exactly.
We can build relationships and communities through Zoom, through all the sorts of amazing online options.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. And I also think as more people, like millions of people, are suddenly working from home, they are, most of them are surely never going to go back to working the way they were, if ever back in. I mean, I have a friend who commutes in, or used to commute in, 2.5 hours each way. Yeah. Why would he do that? He's gained an extra day every week just by working from home. And however many thousands it's saving him on his train.
Yeah.
So yes, I believe everything's going to be different. For sure.
I mean, and companies are going to be saving that money too, because why have all this office space for people that are perfectly well working from home? And now they've proven, yes, we can work from home. I can do my job just as well, probably better, because I'm not exhausted after a 2.5 hour commute into the office.
Exactly. Yeah, who knew the apocalypse was going to be this cozy? We're all sitting around in yoga pants, stroking the cat. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, and I think it just opens up more opportunities and it's for people that are out there looking for opportunities. So again, it's that mindset thing of, there are so many opportunities out there. There are so many things available. It's just being open to that idea that there are different ways of doing things. There's different ways of looking at things. And if
definitely, and I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How rude. How rude. But where I really think the difference is that we now have to be more persuasive. We have to have better reasons. That there is no excuse for sloppy copy now. Everything has to be clear. You can't simply hope that your sales page is going to convince people. You have to be certain. Where are they hurting? How can you help them? What is it that you're offering that is separate? Because we still need help. In fact, more than ever, we need help.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, and a big switch is going to be, how are we helping people? It's kind of making that impact. Like, what are we doing to make a bigger difference, with our customers, with our clients, with our world as a whole? Because that's what people are going to be looking for is, you can see, yes, there's loads of coaches out there, and there's lots of people that make that kind of widget or whatever it is. But how you're doing it, what your kind of purpose is behind it, is what's going to draw people to you and make that kind of connection. So how much value can you add, and how do you really explain that value to other people and share that?
Completely.
Talking about a little bit about making an impact in your business, where do you see this happening a little bit more as people are getting more aware of, the environment, and we've got Black Lives Matter, and we've got so many movements happening now? Do you see people starting to kind of incorporate those into their business?
I do. Most of my clients are in North America, and obviously particularly the diversity issue and the Black Lives Matter is everywhere in the US. I almost consulted with quite a few of my clients and said, so I'm not an American company. Most of my clients are in Canada and North America generally. Do I need to make these statements? And to a man, they said, and by man, I mean anybody. I mean, they all said, well, no, you're not an American company. And I actually grew up in Nigeria and Pakistan. So I have a slightly different attitude than many people, and certainly many North Americans, because I am used to being the only person of my color in a room. I am used to I mean, it still comes with white privilege, don't get me wrong, but it is a very different feeling when you are aware I'm not one of the majority.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to my clients, they felt that, because I do work on diversity, gender issues, sexuality, I feel you can't entirely cover everything.
Yeah.
And I have a very discreet gender and diversity statement on my website, but I mean, frankly, who reads that stuff?
Yeah, nobody.
I mean, I think you've got to have one, but
yeah, but it's I feel like, again, I almost touched on it earlier, but we build these businesses. It's great. We want to make money. We want to help people, but I see a lot more people kind of wanting to give back and to make sure they have like a cause that they really support.
sure.
And it's almost more than just saying, oh, I've got this charity, here's, I set aside a little bit of money for them each time, but it's really bringing it away, kind of like your scholarship mentions, is how can I really support certain people that are kind of living that goal that I want to have, that making that impact that I want to make, and just making it more about just business, more about just money, which those are amazing things in themselves. But yeah, really, I think it's like the next level of business, really.
Yes, you're right. And actually, it's funny you say that, because for a subject, a charity that I give to, and a subject I'm very close to, is my mother was nearly blind. In fact, I went blind for a couple of years and have only just got my eyesight back.
Yeah.
I was only functionally blind, but my mother was pretty much completely blind. So I give, and have always given as part of a percentage of our profit, to Himalayan cataract removal stuff. Because I used to live in India, and I saw regularly that an older person who's 70 or 80, if you 70-ish, certainly, if you remove their cataracts, they've got 10 to 15 good years.
Yeah.
Because people are sort of thrown on the scrap heap. Maybe they don't even eat as much.
Yeah.
And it costs like $15. So I wrote an entire, it's probably about 10 years ago, I wrote an entire branding campaign that was based on, while you get clear on your vision and values and goals, we are actively helping other people see their future.
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, it's too big ad agency. It felt too mendacious. But I wonder now whether it is the time to, because I've been doing that all the way along for the last decade, and me doing it quietly suits that British, that Irish thing of, oh, just don't make a fuss.
Yes.
Just do it quietly. You don't want to draw attention to it. You want to show off.
Yeah.
But now we've got to a point where simply thinking good thoughts isn't enough. Even doing them isn't enough. We have to encourage other people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's finding, and I think that helps us kind of find people that almost vibe with us a little bit more, because we've,
True.
You'll have people that are like, oh yes, I really understand that cause. I've had similar issues in my family, and I understand it. And that's something I really can get behind and support. And then they're even more excited about working with you and working with your business. And the same with me, people will be like really excited about, I like kind of sustainability and eco-friendly, and we're building off-grid, and it's super exciting. So I can kind of talk about those things and attract people that are like, yeah, I really like that way of life. And I also like to be able to look at other people's businesses and say, all right, I am interested in kind of how can I support other people or other businesses that have this same ethos, so that it's not just me feeling like, oh, I'm just a single person. How can I make a difference? It's look at how can we help each other to grow and make this difference in this bigger purpose, and just do more. So anyways, that was a bit of
I think you're absolutely right. And you're encouraging me, because I would tell any client who is building a personal brand, talk about the things you love, be you, don't button it down. So why have I not mentioned these things? I'm a big part, I'm a nomad, and I'm a part of the nomad community. And a lot of that is sustainability. Carbon footprint isn't great, but I don't own many things. And I go and live in places where I know that my money goes grassroots. In the days when we could still, free movement of humans, but hopefully that will happen again.
Yes.
So yes, you're right. You've woken me up on that. I should get on with that, really. Yeah. Bugger.
Awesome. All right. Any other kind of great, we're kind of winding down, any other great words of wisdom for, especially around women and money and really building your business, kind of make the most of it?
Well, it was actually a mindset moment that I had. I was thinking about this interview, and I was remembering a moment where I was at a bit of a low ebb. I was living in New York, which is where you hemorrhage cash. You so much as step outside of the house and suddenly your smoothie costs you $15. And I was feeling exactly these things. Can I charge this much? Can I get with it? Who am I? I am butter for look. I can't even afford a smoothie. And here I am charging X amount of money. This is ridiculous. And I stood on the corner of Madison and 53rd Street, which is right in the middle of Midtown. It's you're close to all those big shiny buildings, Cartier and Gucci and Bergdorf, everything is all there. And the people are shiny and rich and lovely. And I stood there and I looked at them and thought, I only need about 10 clients, to be honest. Like, look how much money is here. I need such a tiny part of it diverted into my life. And for these people, it's nothing. For the people I hang out, because I was living in India at that point most of the time. So for those people, yes, of course, spending the money I wanted clients to spend with me was a lot. And that really was like a key in a lock for me. It made me think of all the people on the universe, all the people on this planet, how many of them need to spend money with me?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a brilliant thought. I love that, because there's so much money out there. There's more and more millionaires every day. We've got massive billionaires and stuff out there. We just need a few people of those. We don't need everyone to want to buy our stuff. We don't need everyone to want to be a raving fan. We just need to find those couple of people and build it from there.
Exactly.
That's lovely. Thank you for that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been super fun. And we'll make sure that all of the links to find you are in the show notes. So if you want to check out more about Liz, head to the show notes and you'll find all of her details and links to her social media and website. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.